is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. Cardinals baseball presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Roof is open. Very nice afternoon for baseball. It's game number 3 between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Milwaukee Brewers. Flashback to Friday, game 1 of this series. Base hit into left. Throw by Tommy Pham is there, but Kurt Neuenhuis just beat the tag, and the Brewers win by a run. Then yesterday, 3 home runs hit by the Cardinals. Especially late, the offense came alive. It was Peralta, Pham, and then Diaz with this 3-run shot, and the Cardinals win that game 8-1. The margin of defeat, when the Cardinals lose, it's not by a lot. Flip it, when the Cardinals win, it is by a lot. The Cardinals, when they win, the average margin of victory is plus 4.5. Jim Hayes is here. That's the Matt Hungarian Al Raboski. I'm Dan McLaughlin. It's the final game before the All-Star break, and it's a good pitching matchup as Guerra will go against Leake here today.
Yeah, Diaz has been the big surprise for the Cardinals as a rookie. Well, Guerra's been the surprise for the Brewers. His team is 10-2 in his starts. Matter of fact, he's 6-1, and the only time he lost was to the Cardinals.
So it's Junior Guerra, it's Mike Leake, it's the St. Louis Cardinals and the Milwaukee Brewers. Game number 3, the rubber game, St. Louis and Milwaukee. First pitch, starting lineups coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. has been nothing short of sensational. The All-Star Ledmus Diaz leads us to our Academy Sports and Outdoor leaderboard. The Cardinals rookie ranks at the half, and look at where he compares to one of the all-time greats in Cardinals history, Albert Pujols. And Ledmus Diaz is in the lineup here this afternoon. It's game number 3. Thumbs up, it's the Cards, it's the Brewers, and it comes your way next. Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Bud Light Live. By Chevrolet. Visit your local Mid-America Chevy dealer for great prices on the all-new 2016 Malibu. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Well, we know the Cardinals will finish up this first half above the 500 mark. They come in at 45-42. And along with Jim Hayes and Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin. 70 degrees. The roof is open. Cloudy day here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. What's amazing, though, Al, is that the fact is the Cubs are struggling, and the Cardinals start play today only 7 games back of Chicago.
Yeah, hard to believe that. And really, the Cardinals just need to worry about themselves. Take care of their own business, and we'll see if we get surprises like that. But it's inconceivable that the way the Cubs started out, that they could go through this rough spell, but the Cardinals really need to capitalize.
Today is game number 88 of the season for the Cardinals, and today features their 80th different lineup. Tommy Pham will lead things off, followed by Ledmus Diaz, then Steven Piscotty, Johnny Peralta, 4th home run yesterday, the struggling Matt Adams, who is 0 for his last 27, Randall Grichuk, Colton Wong, Alberto Rosario, first ever major league start, and Mike Leake, 5 for 29 on the year. Junior Guerra, this guy's quite a story. Last Monday, the right-hander held the national scoreless over 7 1/3. Gave up just 2 hits, couple of walks, 7 strikeouts, and a 1-0 win. He threw just 9 first pitch strikes to 26 batters, and we'll see if that continues today. Just a few moments ago, we had bees yesterday and a pigeon here today.
Not exactly the best zookeepers there, are they?
Well, you usually don't want those have one of those flying over you. You'd rather have them on the ground.
Right. And you'd scoop them up and take him off the field.
Cards with 3 home runs yesterday. That included Tommy Pham. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pham is hitting .250 this year, 3 home runs, and he has driven in 3.
Just destroyed in his brief career, Milwaukee pitching. Added over 400 against them. Garen, you saw a 6-1. The only loss was at the expense of the Cardinals. Brewers are 10-2 when he starts. He's a 31-year-old rookie.
Native of Venezuela. And a nasty pitch as he strikes out Tommy Pham. The bottom dropped out of that. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs. Ryan Braun in left field. Kurt Neuenhuis in center. Ramon Flores is in right. Perez, VR, Jeanette, Carter along the infield. The all-star Jonathan Lucroy behind the plate. The first official transaction of the David Stearns tenure here as general manager of Milwaukee was to pick up this right-hander. And Diaz is hit by the pitch.
Now that rookie GM is 31 years of age, and so is his first pickup, Guerra, from the White Sox. And here you see the ball up and in. It's the Cardinal All-Star representative up in the shoulder area. Guerra also has a 15 2/3 scoreless streak, covering his last 2 starts in the first batter here today.
Hasn't allowed a run in 15 1/3. That was against the Dodgers and against the Nationals, 2 very good teams. He's an interesting story because of the fact that he is 31, as you mentioned, and a rookie. He signed originally with the Atlanta Braves in 2001. He was an outfielder and a catcher 5 years and then converted to a pitcher. He spent 5 years in the independent leagues, and he did develop a pitch, though, the split finger, and he's also throwing a pretty good fastball as well. That one at 94, and those 2 pitches have been dominant for him.
Yeah, he's got the fastball and slider, so everything was hard, and it took him about 5 years to really develop that split finger. They say it's a split finger changeup, but yet he's been throwing it at different velocities also, and which is helping him out.
The 2-0 pitch. Piscotty lines it into center field. Neuenhuis makes the catch. Back to first goes Diaz. 2 down.
Cardinals always are going to miss Matt Carpenter when he's out of lineup, but Matt was 3 for 3 off of Guerra.
Brings in Peralta. 1 for 6 in this series with a home run. Was a pinch hitter on Friday night. Nearly picked up a pinch hit 3-run homer as he hit it to the wall. And we saw his 4th home run yesterday. 2 outs, runner at first, and the first pitch, a strike. Al's Toyota keys to the game.
Well, you don't really want to look ahead. You know, everyone's going to hopefully enjoy the All-Star break, but there's work to be done today. You have to win this game here, keep your string intact of 14 straight series defeating them, the Brewers.
Hit and run as it's fouled back, and it's 0-2.
And it's only common nature where a lot of guys are looking forward to the long break during the All-Star break, but let's just take care of business today and then enjoy that 4 days off.
We'll see if we get a better look as this game goes on with that split finger pitch. Lucroy, the catcher, said it's almost like a hard knuckleballer. He said he's unpredictable with that pitch. Just how much movement he's getting out of it. May see it here on 0-2.
Kind of hard to tell whether that's a slider or the split finger, but you saw the downward action on it. He spent 2014 in Italy pitching there. There you see the split finger grip and watch the downward movement.
Wow. He's throwing that hard, too. 0-2 with 2 outs and a runner at first. The next pitch to Peralta.
95 down and away. Johnny also loves hitting in this ballpark and against Milwaukee. just off the plate.
Gabe Morales calling the balls and strikes. Lance Barksdale at first, Will Little at second. Ted Barrett, the crew chief, is down at third. Well, that last pitch did not miss by much, maybe a little low, but over the plate.
Looks like it'll be the splitter here.
Here's a 1-2 to Peralta. Blocked by Lucroy, but advancing on the play, it led Miss Diaz to second base.
Yeah, good secondary lead right there. Saw the separation, the ball from the catcher, and he takes off and gets himself in scoring position.
So wild pitch, Lucroy did everything he could to keep this in front.
You saw he just uses the glove to block the hole between his legs, and then you just take it off the chest protector. Try to kind of engulf that ball and so it'll fall right at your feet.
Runner in scoring position, the 2-2. Popped up. And that'll find the seats out of play. A nice play made by a fan. Holy smokes. Sign that guy up.
There he is. Get up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Pardon me while I stand up and applaud.
That's their owner is applauding for him too. Right in the first row, right behind the dugout. And watch this gentleman.
Oh yeah.
Took out his 3 kids, but.
Oh, but so what, Al? You get the souvenir. That's just laying out.
Hopefully we'll get that same effort from the Cardinals today.
Strikeout of Peralta. The play of the year by the fan right there. No score. Jack Buck to say, pardon me when I stand up and applaud.
I got the reference.
I mean, that's the McGuire blast. Historic home run. For me, it's just a fan making a great catch.
Well, I think that young lady in St. Louis that you guys were raving about in the last homestand, I think she's a little jealous. She didn't get a stand up and applaud.
Good point. That one was pretty special right there, though. Villar, Jeanette, Braun, then Lucroy, Carter, Neuenhuis, Perez, Flores, and the pitcher Guerra against Mike Leake. Five and 7 this year. ERA of 4.33. Villar turned 25 back on May 2nd. And he came over in a trade with Houston, where he was a utility man. Last 3 years, he had under 600 at bats. Getting a chance to play every day, and he's made the most of it. Just over Diaz and into left center. All the way to the wall. Villar to second, and he stops there. His 21st double of the year.
Also, you got to pay attention to him. He's the major league leader in steals, and we saw in this series he likes to steal third base. Well, Mike Leake, who's struggled the last 3 starts, he's lost them all, and the team has lost his last 4. This ball plugs the gap out on left center, and DR with that great speed.
That's a look at your AT&T high-speed replay. Here's Scooter Gennett. 2, 3, and 4 in this lineup. Pretty good numbers against Mike Leake. Gennett 7 for 22. So Rosario could be tested here. There's your ground ball hit to the right side. Advancing VR from second to third.
Small ball manufacturing a run right there. Productive out. See his teammates appreciate that. Getting the speedster over to third base.
And it brings in Ryan Braun.
The Cardinals are going to pull their infield in. Indication that Mike Matheny, at least right now, thinks his team is going to struggle to score runs. They usually have a field day in this ballpark.
Ryan Braun with an average at .317, 13 home runs. He's driven in 44. Looks at a strike.
I think this just invites a potential big inning.
Well, Leake doesn't strike out many, and when the ball is put in play, a lot of times on the ground. Defense has to be good behind Mike Leake. Rosario sets up inside, hits his spot. 1 ball, 1 strike. Braun is the all-time franchise leader in home runs here in Milwaukee with 268. He's also climbing up the list in RBIs, extra base hits, 1 triple away for third place. Total bases, he's had quite a run. 1-2 the count.
He's 5 for 22 with a home run, 2 doubles, and 4 RBIs against Leake. Leake doesn't walk many, 3rd best walk ratio in the National League. Pumps a lot of strikes.
Here's a 1-2. Hit out of play. The Cardinals, if they wanted to here today, especially with the uncertainty of Trevor Rosenthal, you would figure O is available, Broxton is available, Bowman is probably off limits, but they have Jaime Garcia and Adam Wainwright in their pen and available to pitch today.
And they have been notified of that possibility. I used to watch how many times a starting pitcher on this final weekend before the All-Star break, how many losses they would get pitching in relief.
It happens. 1-2 pitch in the dirt. Rosario, nice play. He is known as a very good defensive player his entire minor league career, which has lasted over a decade. He makes a very good play there.
No doubt. Well off the plate, sliding over there on a breaking ball, kind of at the mercy of the hop. Very good catch and throw, 42%. He's nailed base stealers in his career. We've also seen that he's batting 1,000. Rosario.
And a base hit to right and an RBI. 3-2 the count here on Ryan Braun. Lucroy is on deck.
That's where sometimes, you know, if you're a ground ball pitcher that throws a lot of strikes, make it borderline. See if you can get him. See if he'll get himself out.
He struck him out. Mike Leake with the strikeout. Boy, did he need that. Huge strikeout that brings in Lucroy.
Yeah, I'm just really surprised that Braun just kind of conceded this one. You'd think. See a good pitcher's pitch right there. Braun thought it was ball 4, but got rung up. So now you can see your way. But Lucroy has great numbers against Leake, so be careful here.
17 for 35, couple of home runs.
3 doubles, 7 RBIs, so don't make a mistake here.
Seen Leake drop down and get that breaking ball in for his strike. Now 0-1. Same pitch that he had to Ryan Braun.
Lucroy named to the All-Star game. It's his second appearance. The other time they've had a catcher make 2 appearances, Ted Simmons.
1 ball, 1 strike. Outfield is straight away. Lucroy, home run in game 1 of this series. He sat yesterday and hit into a key double play induced by Matt Bowman. Score doesn't indicate yesterday there were some key spots which the Brewers could have taken a lead. One was the great play by Greg Garcia, a diving stop with the bases loaded. And then for Craig Counsell's club, they brought up Lucroy to pinch hit and hit into a double play.
Lucroy,
2 strikes.
Lucroy. Counsell talked about the double play that was started by Garcia. A very difficult play, good end over by Jerko. It falling out and staying on the bag, but he thought that was the play of the game. And that was a 3-1 game until the 9th inning.
The 2-2. Hit up the middle, off the glove of the diving Colton Wong and into center field. Lucroy drives in the run, his 42nd, and it's 1-0 Milwaukee.
Very similar to the play yesterday that Garcia made and turned it into a double play. Right here, hard hit ball up the middle. Dive by Wong, can't knock it down. VR would score either way. Able to get up and throw him out.
Here's a play yesterday. Garcia with the bases loaded takes that hit away and 2 runs from scoring. Then he helped turn a double play later in the game as Carter swings through the first pitch for strike 1.
The play was made with the bases loaded, and 2 runs would have scored.
Chris Carter with 22 home runs. Bryant, third baseman, outfielder for the Cubs with 25 to lead the National League. Arenado and Duvall with 23, and then Carter 22. No balls and 2 strikes.
Carter questioning that last delivery.
Carter has struck out 110 times, make it 111. So Lee gives up the 2-out RBI base hit to Lucroy, his 42nd driven in. VR scores 1-0. The All-Star game is Tuesday on Fox. Then on Wednesday, we'll repeat the top 5 games of the first half of the season. Al's coming over to my house. We're going to get together and just break it all down for 12 hours. Wednesday and the repeat of the 5 best games of the first half. Looking forward to it, Al.
Thank you for the invite.
You bet. Adams hitless in this series, 0 for his last 27 until this one. Stay fair down the right field line, and that ball is gone. Home run, Matt Adams, number 10, as he busts out of the 0 for 27. And we're tied at 1.
That's the way to do it. And the Cardinals now have hit a homer in 18 straight games at Miller Park and 35 of the last 41. But breaks the 0 for 27 in a dramatic fashion, ties this game, and way to go, Matt.
It brings in Randall Grichuk. Grichuk on the year at 222. Sends a fly ball into right. This will be Ramon Flores under it, and he makes the catch. Back to the home run for Adams. It was just a question as to whether or not it would stay fair.
Yeah, he knew he hit it far enough. Kind of goes around the foul pole into that second deck. His 10th home run. Another Cardinal with 10 home runs or more.
Fewest ABs in terms of the home run ratio on the road. Cardinals 23.4, slightly ahead of Washington, Chicago, and the Mets. Kubota power stats, and there's a strike to Colton Wong. Be interesting to see how much, once we come back from the break, that Adams will play. Is it going to be every day? Will it be against lefties? Or is it going to be a platoon with Jed Jerko until, let's say, Brandon Moss gets back and is healthy?
Well, I think that's what Mike Matheny's got so many options, but sometimes that's not the best. I'm sure every manager would prefer to put out a steady 8 and pretty much let them play. And pretty much as a team, you know who your thoroughbreds are, the guys that are regulars.
Strikeout of Wong, and that's 3 in the first 2 innings. 2 down. Here's Alberto Rosario. Well, yesterday he had been waiting for that moment to get the call to the big leagues. Finally got it. Then he had a chance to pinch hit. Stayed in the game as he singled to right, drove in a run. A great moment of this first half. So here it is, going down that right field line with the base hit, and then Rosario hands up, pumping both fists in the air. The reaction of the bench.
11 years in the minor leagues. And maybe want to look at one of the thought processes here is be ready early in the count before you may get to that splitter.
Here's a 1-1 pitch.
There it is again.
Yadier Molina, originally in the lineup, took a foul ball, you may recall, off his right knee and was limping in the clubhouse. So they're going to give him the rest of today, and obviously the break coming up. Hopefully we'll see him in the lineup on Friday. So when the Marlins are in town, and we'll start the celebration of the 06 championship team all weekend long. Looking forward to that.
Absolutely. Ichiro will be in town also. Looking forward to that, but doubtful that he will reach 3,000 in St. Louis next weekend.
2-2. It's a banged up club right now. Rosenthal, Matt Holliday, Yadier Molina, Carpenter, Moss. And with all the injuries here at the tail end of this first half, the Cardinals still could be within 6 at the break. 3-2. Base hit into right field. He's 2 for 2.
Hit both those balls hard too. You know, so he was hitting 281 at Memphis. Jason said, he won't look at him.
This little short, compact swing right here.
Straight to the ball. This looks like he's going to take that ball a lot to right field, and that's good.
So you at least get Mike Leake through the order. He's 5 for 29 with a double and an RBI. First pitch is strike.
Remember, Mike Leake is at the second highest batting average among active pitchers. Adam Wainwright is third.
On pitch. Ground ball that's hit to short. VR across the diamond and just gets Leake hustling down the line. Cardinals strand a runner. They tie it up though with a solo home run from Adams. Happening here with the club. With more on the guys that are banged up, let's check in with Mr. Hayes.
Danny, you were talking about how Yachty was originally penciled in the starting lineup. That right knee did stiffen up overnight. Mike Matheny saying Yachty is available. They'd really like to avoid using him today. He said Rosario didn't know he was in the starting lineup till he saw the lineup. Mike says probably a good thing for a player that knows that they'll be getting their first major league start. Probably don't sleep that well the night before, so less nervousness for him. Matt Holliday has that ankle issue. Matheny saying that he probably could have started Holliday, but they just want to make sure he's 100% for the second half. And you guys mentioned that Wainwright is available today. And if you saw Wainwright before the game, it seems to me, just an observation, he really wants in because he has the same look, or he had the same look today as he does on the day of a start. So I have a feeling Wainwright wants to pitch today out of the bullpen.
And Garcia is available as well?
Yeah, Jaime is available as well. And so is Trevor Rosenthal, I'm told, but they would rather not use him if that's possible.
All right, Jimmy, thank you. What a play moments ago there by Ledmus Diaz on the shift with Neuenhuis at the plate.
Yeah, first of all, you didn't think he was even going to get to the ball, but then to turn it into an out, a very, very special play. You could talk about his 15 errors, but this is the 15th exceptional defensive play we've seen Diaz make. That's most on the club.
Serious question. What defines a gem in the club's mind?
I have an idea.
I know they have them listed. I'm just curious what that might be.
But I would have to say that's one.
Great play. Hernan Perez. You know, not only has Diaz solidified that spot, shortstop position, which has been a rotation of players for a number of years since Renteria, but it's not just this year, it's many years beyond. He's a young player. He's getting better and better. Could be here a long time.
Well, we hope he's here a long time. And Cardinals always, have rights to him for the first 6 years. He's on a 3-year of a 4-year contract, but
the 1-2 hit out of play.
Plays like that behind Mike Leake, and makes him feel like, okay, I can throw my power sinker, I can get all these ground balls, and they'll be gobbled up. It hasn't always been that case for him.
The numbers haven't been all that pretty for Mike Leake here in the first half. Neither has the defense behind him in many of his starts, especially in that first month. Picks up his 3rd strikeout. MLB.com Premium. #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Mike Leake does not have overpowering stuff. As you mentioned, very good sinker. So the ball will be on the ground. You have to play defense behind him and play it well. Now you say that with every pitcher, but it's especially true with Leake.
And then you'll talk to the infielders, and they love playing behind a guy like Leake because they know they're going to be active. They're going to see a little more strikeouts today than normal.
Also works quickly. There's your ground ball. Adams to Leake, who steps on the bag. We play 2, and it's a 1-1 game. St. Louis Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. By your local Volkswagen dealer. And try Jack's new Triple Bacon Buttery Jack today. Limited time only at participating restaurants. Cardinals have the top of the lineup and Tommy Pham to lead it off. Then Diaz and Piscotty 1-1 our score. I remember talking to Bruce Sutter about his split finger. Just how good of a dominant pitch that was. Took him to the Hall of Fame with 300 saves. Former Cy Young Award winner. Said one of the things that really helped is that he's got long fingers. To get that ball sandwiched between 2 fingers and be able to throw it effectively. 0-2 pitch.
Probably the late 90s, maybe 80s too. That was a pitch in vogue. Everybody was teaching the split finger fastball, and then they felt like it was hurting a lot of young pitchers' arms, so they canceled that out. But when you're 31 or 25, I guess about the time he started learning the pitch, he had nothing to lose. It took him about 5 years to perfect it, and here he is right now pitching well.
Remember the name of Fred Martin?
Fred Martin's one who taught Bruce Sutter.
He was the
former
Cubs
catcher.
minor league pitching instructor, and he was trying to teach all the pitchers back then, including Bruce, how to throw the pitch. He said you need a new grip. Arm was hurt, career was in a state of flux, and he developed that pitch. The amazing thing about Sutter, he threw more than 80 innings 10 times in his career. Now think about that for a closer. Dennis Eckersley, great closer, never did that once. The 2-inning save as that's hammered into left center field by Tommy Pham. He's off to the races. His second double of the season.
And the involvement of the specialization of really 7th, 8th, and the closer today, only 1 inning. And I think Tony La Russa was pretty much at the forefront of this with Eckersley. When they took him from, he was a very successful starter early in his career. A no-hitter, won 20 games. But when he was kind of at the end, what looked like the end of his career, kind of mopping up in the bullpen.
Diaz bunts it back to Guerra. He's got to hurry, and the pick by Carter.
He almost made a mistake right there. He's standing flat-footed, and you don't have anything behind that throw. He bounced it to Carter, but he was able to make that play. You want to be able to come together, make a little crow hop. And you see right there, Pham would have been out if he would have tried to advance. There he tries to get Diaz and standing flat-footed.
That's the 3rd time in the last 5 games that Diaz has tried to bunt. I'd like to see him swing the bat.
The way he has the power, I agree with you.
Here's Steven Piscotty lined out to center field. Chops one to third, taken there by Perez. 2 outs.
One thing I will say, though, is if you get the guy over to third and only 1 out, and you have a good opportunity to take the lead. You still do with Johnny Peralta, the way he loves hitting this ballpark.
You know, Bruce Bochy this year, I was just looking at a stat, who is considered one of the best at handling a bullpen, has had 64 times in which a pitcher has come in to face one hitter here in the first half. 64, most in baseball. He'll ride that bullpen in and out matchups. Doesn't worry about extra innings. Always tells you, I'll worry about it if and when we get there. But we're going to try to win it in regulation. Here's Peralta. Again, a nice play by Lucroy to keep that in front.
But going back to, like Eckersley, once Dave Duncan put his magic on him and Tony started saying, okay, let's just use the guy for 1 inning. That's when he became the Hall of Fame closer that he is. And they make like 60 appearances and have 60 innings.
2 outs, runner at second. And the 1-0 pitch to the Cardinals' third baseman. Pretty amazing how things are always in a state of flux in baseball. Idea was spring training. This man pictured right there was your starting shortstop. And then it was Ruben Tejada. Then it became Aledmys Diaz.
And Peralta's injury, the first time he's been on the disabled list in his, I believe, 13-year career.
Jed Jerko played a lot. Greg Garcia played a lot at shortstop as well.
And now you find your third baseman and your shortstop for a few years. Johnny has 1 more year on his contract, right?
1 more year. (3-0) the count. Will they turn him loose? Adams on deck. Inside. So he'd already hit a man. That was Diaz back in the first. This is his first walk, and a chance now for Matt Adams, who was homered here today. This is back in the second inning. And a solo home run down the right field line. That reaction, you know, he got it. And he did. Stayed fair. And Adams with his 10th home run, his 35th driven in this season.
0 for 27 before that big swing. Hopefully he'll go back on a tear. Very unfortunate. He was swinging the bat so well middle of May and into June. Average was, you know, well into 300s, and then he got the back spasms, took him out of the lineup for a few days, and then the slump.
That pitch taken down and in. Guerra, 6 seasons in independent baseball. Made it to the major leagues in June of last season with the Chicago White Sox, working out of their pen. Brewers are 10-2 in his starts this year. He's actually been better against left-handers than right-handers. Both very stingy numbers. Left-handed batters 193, the righties at 209.
And it's what, 201, I think, overall. So
the 2-0 pitch. 2-1.
teams, when you look at the first 2 games, a lot of missed opportunities.
2-1 pitch. 2-2.
See that splitter, and you know, Suter didn't throw his at a high velocity at all. You know, his was like below the hitting zone. Hitters would tell you you'd see it so well, and then by the time you swung at it, the bottom would fall out of it.
Runners at first and second, and a 2-2 pitch. Fouled back. But then it made the fastball so much better because they were anticipating at times the splitter, and the fastball seemed a lot harder than it really was.
Yes, and if you remember, he struck out Gorman Thomas to close out the '82 World Series with the fastball.
2-2. Pulled foul.
But I would think that Bruce would tell you he didn't want to throw too many of them, or he didn't want to be in a count to where they were thinking it was going to be a fastball. Then you had Jack Morris came on, where it became the split finger fastball, where he put it back into his fingertips, but you know, threw it with a lot more velocity rather than jamming it all the way back.
Strikes out Adams. 4th strikeout today. The Cardinals strand 2. They have left 4 on in 3 innings. Tommy Pham with his 2nd double of the year to lead this inning off, but the Cardinals can't bring him in. It's 1-1 midway through 3. 1-1. Al talked about this earlier, but the walks, and it's the fewest per 9 in Major League Baseball this year. Kershaw, Tomlin, and Leake. Syndergaard and Cologne is on that. That's driven out to left field. Pham took a ball right on it, gets past him. It's similar to what we saw on a ball yesterday, almost identical. Yesterday he made the catch. This one he could not. It's a double for Junior Guerra.
Remember, you said Guerra started out as an outfielder catcher in the Braves organization. But you're right. Tommy Pham came in, tried to go across the field, and then realized it was going to get over his head and went back. So broke in, now he goes back, and it's over his head.
Shaking his head right now. Here is VR. A lot of times behind Leake this year, there have been plays that don't show up at errors that cost him. This may be one of them. Throw down to second, and nice play by Diaz to keep that on the infield.
Really, as he was almost screened by the runner, Guerra coming back to the bag. But we talk about the ability to throw from Rosario. Not a bad idea, but you better make sure your shortstop or second baseman is in the vicinity.
The double to left center and scored as he drops down a bunt, pushes it foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Brewers were busy this offseason. They traded Carlos Gomez, and last year too, Mike Fiers, K-Rod, Adam Lind, Gene Segura, Chris Davis, Gerardo Parra. And one of the players that arrived in those deals is at the plate, and that's VR. Domingo Santana was the leadoff guy, but no more. There's the ownership group. Mark Anastasio.
Got a 31-year-old general manager that started acquiring a couple players that were older than he is.
This bunt is better. Tough play. Who's at the bag, and he beats it out. Bunt base hit. VR, who can absolutely fly. And you got to think now he's off to the races with runners at first and third and nobody out.
But here's an example too, is somebody's got to get there. Leake is a very good fielder. And it was a foot race with Colton Wong. He really had about the same distance to run as VR did.
VR has 31 steals as you get a look at Scooter Gennett. That's most in all of baseball. Starling Marte with 28 of the Pirates. Then it's Altuve and Davis with 23. He's been caught 9 times, and he's been aggressive in this series.
Leake, very a good athlete, and you think because of his feet, quick feet, he'll keep that runner. You know, he'll pay a little more attention to him, make it a little tougher for VR to steal.
Long look and then steps off the rubber. Should be 1 out, and then that would maybe change the complexion of the bat that VR just had. Instead of bunting, he's swinging away and maybe changes the complexion of the inning. He was running and then stopped. Lucky he's not picked off.
Yeah, and then of course you're also lucky that doesn't bunt or doesn't balk. But there he's holding, and that's how you take the spring out of the life of a base stealer. Hold the ball, and they get so fidgety. So there'll be a couple throws over. There'll be. Or Leake will just hold on to the ball like he did that other time.
The Cardinals, at least recently, they've been basically letting that man at first take the bag at second with no throw. Be interesting to see how they want to play this.
I think a lot of times, Dan, that's where You know, you're stealing off the pitcher.
Villar, Tommy Harper, Scott Pasednik, the only players in Brewers franchise history with 30 or more steals before the break. Not running. Ball one.
Tommy Harper was a 30-30 man when that was a very, very rare.
Not running again. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tommy Pham in left field. Grichuk in center. Piscotty is in right. Peralta, Diaz, Wong, Adams along the infield. Rosario behind the plate. Around the horn is presented by Dobbs.
You see Mike is flashing all these signs to Rosario, who will relay them to Leake. It's all about stopping the running game. See what I'm talking about a really good athlete and very quick feet. Made that a very close play over there.
Also almost made it 1-run lead for Milwaukee, and Adams made a nice play here. Remember, Leake 2 starts ago threw over to first base and committed an error that led to a run.
I think Adams remembered it.
Runner goes, and the pitch is popped out. Rosario giving it a look, and it's out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Brewers have a great young shortstop prospect in Orlando Arcia, one of the top prospects at short in all of baseball. But with Villar and the way that he's played, it's really given them some time and a cushion not to push him to the major leagues.
Matter of fact, there was an article in the paper today talking about they had the replacement for Villar. But to me, he's pretty talented. That other kid may be talented, but this kid's doing it at the big league level, leading the major leagues in steals.
Not running, fouled back.
And we've all heard about the next star of the minor leagues get to a certain level, and all of a sudden we don't hear about him anymore.
Struck him out. Big strikeout, number 4 today for Leake. Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks. It's a pitch he hasn't been throwing all that much, the breaking ball.
You know, sometimes, and Leake's given up 14 home runs. That's the most on the staff, and a lot of times it's a cutter that he'll throw up there and it just doesn't cut. But you got to make that combination. Now you want your ground ball double play. Ron has hit into 11 double plays. Let's make it 12.
He came up with a man at third and 1 out and struck out. Runners at first and third. Good pick again by Adams, and they've got him picked off. In a rundown, and the tag. No, it's not there. Now it is.
I was going to say finally the Cardinals do a rundown properly, and apparently Wong missed the tag.
How big is this play here?
Oh yeah. And also I like Rosario going out there and maybe just slowing down Leake, but here's the pick. Nice pick by Adams. Then he runs it back to Wong. He's close enough to tag him, but he must have missed him. And then Diaz, who's right there at the bag. And of course the pitcher is stationary at third base the entire time. Ooh, they may not want to look at that one. See if his hand got in there ahead of the tag.
Taking a long look at this. This is important right now.
Hurry up, throw a pitch.
Especially with Braun at the plate. Big call, and it goes the Cardinals' way. First pitch hit out of play. So the Brewers have gone to first and third, nobody out. to first and third, 2 outs, no run scored. That's a huge play in this game. Give Adams a lot of credit on that pick. Not an easy play.
No, he did the right thing, ran him back to Wong, and
Braun pops it up. Adams is over, leaning and out of room.
When you're doing a rundown play, you should only have one throw right there. You see how they close the gap? Maybe is he out of the base path? The umpire doesn't call anything. He calls it now after he's tagged out by Diaz. But ideally, you run him back. You know, in this case, most of the time you want to run him back to the base he was at. But in this case, you throw it to Wong. Wong started closing the gap. He just missed the tag.
Breaking ball and kept in front again by Rosario. Second time. Pitch similar to that with a man at third. He's blocked it and kept it in front.
So far, everything we've been told about Rosario is true. Very good defensively, good catch and throw guy. I think we're all happy to see the 2 hits and 2 plate appearances. It's not Yadi or Molina, but for a guy for 11 years in the minor leagues, he's well schooled.
1-2, popped up, shallow right, slicing foul.
And again, Rosario comes out and talks to Leake. They're ahead in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Part of the conversation.
So 2 outs, runner at third. Braun at the plate. 1-1 our score. Lucroy base hit with 2 outs back in the first. Matt Adams a solo home run to lead off the second to tie it up. And the 1-2. Struck him out. Second time that Braun has been caught looking. 5 strikeouts for Leake. 2 back-to-back in this inning. On the run when the Cardinals score 6, any size drink, any size drink, any of them, just 50 cents the next day. Maybe you like coffee, found frozen drinks. When they score, you pour it your nearest on the run. You earned it. I'm sure this has been a frustrating game already for Craig Counsell, and now you talked about missed opportunities, and the Brewers just had a huge opportunity to regain the lead.
And of course, Counsell is a little frustrated with his team, but he hopes that his pitcher Garrett can put that momentum back into his dugout.
First pitch is strike 2, Randal Grichuk.
Cardinals should feel really good about getting out of those jams, come back here and see if they can't score, and you let a team like the Milwaukee hang around with you. They got their best pitcher on the mound.
What an odd first half it has been for the Cardinals. Can't win at home. They win on the road, dealing with injuries. 2 guys are counting on sent to the minor leagues, brought back up. Your closer that it was just about automatic with 48 saves a year ago, no longer your closer, and yet a chance to be 6 games out at the break.
Mike's also the only team in baseball this year that started with 5 starters and still has 5 starters. And good news, you know, Waka saw Friday night take that ball off his heel. He's not going to have any problem. He's ready to pitch, so he'll be ready for the second half.
2-2. Talking with John Mozeliak before the game, and so what does the trade market look like? There were 41 trades in July last year. We're getting closer to that deadline, and he said a lot of teams are talking about outfield help, which is something at this point we're not interested in. And he said we need to see the full complement of players once we hit the deadline to figure out what to do. Now, I know a lot of fans have talked about Alex Reyes, and I've talked to Mo about that. And he said the one thing you have to be careful of with Alex Reyes is that we look at his future, and he's the #2 overall prospect in all of baseball. We look at his future as a starter, and we want to get him built up with innings. As Grichuk hits a high, towering fly ball down the left field line. This ball is a catch by Braun. Not an easy play with the outfield wall and the side wall in play there as well. And almost a home run for Grichuk.
And not an easy play at all. And you can see he's in foul territory, running out of real estate. And that makes a catch right up into that corner.
That's a heck of a play.
So he may have struck out twice in this ball game, but he didn't carry it into the field. Give him credit for that.
Brings in Colton Wong. But Reyes right now at 41 2/3 innings, 61 strikeouts, 20 walks. But he needs more innings. Now, if the Cardinals are in contention, they need help in the bullpen. Certainly, you would think about bringing him up.
And I'm the kind of guy that I like to see even top-rate prospects still start out in the bullpen. Good enough for Bob Gibson, good enough for Reyes or all the others. But a lot of times you bring these kids up and they're only throwing 5 innings because of a pitch count in the minor leagues. They're going to throw less than 5 at the big leagues.
They're grinding through 5 innings at AAA. It's going to be tougher to do that here
Exactly.
at the big league level.
And, you know, you use a guy out of the bullpen, you can kind of pick and choose your spots. You can, you know, if he's having a rough day, you don't overexpose him and lose his confidence. You can kind of get him out of there to keep that confidence.
Two and two with 1 out. Put it this way, though, I'm excited to watch him when he does get here.
And I'm right there with you. You've seen him pitch in person. I have not.
I'm not one that gets overly hyped watching a prospect. I thought watching Oscar Taveras, I guess it was 4 seasons ago in the spring training games, it was fun. I mean, he was clearly the best hitter at that camp.
You know, I know, and I remember one year I never saw him make contact, but I was intrigued by his potential, the way he swung.
Watch Reyes throw in a simulated game last year, Al, against Jaime Garcia on the backfields. However, he was facing major league hitters. They brought major league guys over. And I came away floored.
Again, I'm not one to. You've told me.
I mean, I'm not going to overhype a guy too much, but
It caught your attention, put it that way.
I will say, though, when you bring major league guys over to face a minor league prospect, they're halfway there. Half of them are sitting there going protect mode because they don't want to get hurt with somebody that they feel in their minds doesn't throw enough strikes. But
well, when I saw him pitch, he was striking. He's throwing strikes. He was striking everybody out, and he was throwing close to triple digits. And he was doing that at the back end of this too, which was around 80, 90 pitches. He was still throwing really hard with a really sharp breaking ball. So time will tell.
And that's one of the things you've always told me about him, that he has that ability late in a ball game that he doesn't lose his stuff.
I watch him
throwing hard
on the minor league games. They still have cameras on those games, and you can get it on your phone or your iPad, and I really don't have a life, so I do watch those games, and he's still throwing hard, really hard. You think that's wrong of me, Al? I mean, I spend 8, 9 hours here watching these guys, and then I go home and watch minor league baseball. I kind of like the game. I can't help it.
With 4 kids.
Well, they're in bed, I got to tell you that. I'm not that bad of a dad.
Oh, you're a great dad.
Looking forward to seeing those munchkins here the next 4 days.
Oh, yeah. I think everybody's excited about the 4 days off, but you just got to grind it out today. Make sure you play this game 100%. In my mind, this is a meaningful game. Chicago and Pittsburgh are still going at it. We're in 3rd place. So, if Pittsburgh loses, we win, move back into 2nd place. If Chicago loses, pick up a game on it. Big game.
In the dirt again. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Rosario. 2 hits in this series. He's 2 for 2 in his big league career.
Wasn't it a couple weeks ago, Matt Carpenter maybe raised a few eyebrows talking about club could be 5 games out at the All-Star break. Well, it didn't go the way we all had hoped it to go, but it could be 6 games out because the Cubs keep on losing. Got to be close enough to keep that sustained pressure on them.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Could be 2. Slowly hit to second, out there. BR to first, double play. 4-6-3 on the double play. Midway through 4, 1-1 our score. Coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. So the last 30 games, the Cubs are 12-18. You keep going down that list. They're 0-5 in their last 5. This is the closest the Cardinals have been to Chicago since May 24th. Lackey and Nice today in Pittsburgh. The Pirates trying to make it a sweep over Chicago. This is the one thing the Cubs could really count on, was that they didn't hit early on in the season, but their starting 5 were just off the charts. Sensational. But that's come back down, and now they're starting to lose games.
And you just have to believe if someone could put that pressure, get closer to them, those fans are going to, who are delirious early in the season, well, they're going to get a little nervous. They're going to put a little pressure on the home team.
I do believe in that. I do believe that there's more pressure right now on the Cubs than just about any other team in Major League Baseball, with the hype, the expectations, the start.
Think about how high and crazy those fans were when they defeated the Cardinals and knocked them out of the postseason. But then to see their faces.
Base hit for Lucroy.
You see their faces when they, when they lost to the Mets. They were in total disbelief. It's kind of like, oh, here we go again. And that, players will feel that.
Base hit by Lucroy. He's 2 for 2, and it brings in Kreider as we check in with Jim Hayes. Jimmy.
Dan, we talked to the general manager, John Mozeliak, before the game. He said considering all the injuries and health issues they've dealt with and the defensive issues, they're pretty happy to be where they are. He told me if we can be 6 or 7 games out at the break, we would consider ourselves fortunate. He said assessing what areas need to be addressed is tricky now because they still don't know how guys like Carpenter and Moss will bounce back from their injuries. In regard to Carpenter, who's out with that oblique, he told me probably too early to jump in and assess where he's at. These things usually take about 4 weeks, maybe longer, but they kind of have to wait and see how guys heal before they figure out what they want to do.
And Jimmy, your conversation there with John Mozeliak, at what point does Carpenter even pick up a bat and start to swing just to see how it feels?
They just want to make sure that he has a lot of downtime before they start pressing him into doing any sort of baseball-related activity.
Strike to Kreider, 2-1. That is a huge loss for the Cardinals at the top of their lineup. Matt Carpenter leading in most offensive categories.
Like I said, today's starter from Milwaukee was 3 for 3 against him, and just the table setter and obviously MVP of this team, ranking himself up there with the league leaders in so many departments. He'll be considered for first half MVP.
2-2 on Kreider. Struck out looking back in the first.
You look at all the things that have happened to the Cardinals, you can't say that they played their best baseball yet.
The 2-2. And he struck him out. Mike Leake with 6 strikeouts here today, and we're only in the 4th.
You see how far that ball is off the plate. Shadows becoming a factor, but it's like all hit or miss with Chris Carter. I thought he had a base hit up the middle, and a dazzling play by Diaz threw him out at first. Didn't even think he was going to get to the ball, let alone have it make an out.
Robert Durker served 40 years in our armed forces, watching the game at Mercy Hospital. Wish him well. See you at the ballpark very soon and get better. Good changeup there by Leake at 84 miles an hour. 1 ball, 1 strike on Nieuwenhuis. He was robbed by Aledmys Diaz back in the 2nd inning. Great backhanded play. The shift is on here for Nieuwenhuis as Diaz is on the second base side of the bag. Here's a 1-1. Pulled foul. Sounded like he may have broken his bat, and he did. Pick me out a winner, Bobby.
Natural.
You got it. I don't know if it has the lightning bolt of
I was
Wonder
going to
Boy
say
on it.
we're okay because I didn't see the lightning bolt.
So Leake has hit 93 here today. The low 77. And the 1-2 pitch. Check swing. Rosario again kept it in front. I like what I see defensively out of him.
No doubt, and I like the way he's calling the game. Mixing things up. We've never seen, Leake came in here with 104 innings pitched and 66 strikeouts. Here he's got 6 strikeouts in today's game and 3 1/3 innings. Not that strikeouts are a tell-all.
Well, there's another one. That's 7 today for Mike Leake. We didn't expect to see this. He struck out 4 of the last 5. The Chevy Fox tracks, the bottom dropping out of that pitch.
He's lost his last 3 starts. The team's lost his last 4. The most strikeouts he had last season was 10, and the most strikeouts in a career was back in 2014, where he had 12.
Here's Perez. And that's ball 1. He struck out back in the 2nd inning.
He and Will Middlebrooks are going to get a lot of playing time over third base with the trade of Aaron Hill.
That's hit out of play. Aaron Hill is now with the Boston Red Sox. They were busy this week. They acquired Hill for 2 minor leaguers. They also picked up Brad Ziegler, pitched at Missouri State. Closer, formerly of the Diamondbacks. Arizona said they'd like to sign him this offseason and bring him back to the desert. It can't be easy right now for Tony La Russa. We know how competitive he is. The Diamondbacks 38-51, 18 games back. I was looking at the box score the other day. Now this is, the announced attendance was just over 14,000.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't think there was that many in the ballpark. One and 2 the count with 2 outs, runner at first. Leake strikes out the side. That's 8 today through 4 innings. We head to the 5th. We're tied at 1. All right, Scott, thank you. Mike Leake leads it off. Grounded out to short back in the second inning. We are in the fifth and a 1-1 game.
Mike Leake came into this action needing 4 strikeouts for 800 in his career, and he's got 8 already.
First pitch is strike.
Also, Dan, he hasn't pitched in as many day games as the other guys. He's only pitched in 3 day games this year. Everyone else has pitched in at least 6. But he has the best ERA among the starters in day games.
Popped up to the right side. Carter near the crowd and just enough room to make the catch. 1 away. All kicks off on Friday night at home. That's the celebration of the 2006 championship team this weekend with Miami. 4 with San Diego. Then the Dodgers wrap up our season series with LA. And then every trip in the second half is a 3-city trip. And something the Cardinals have done very well is play against sub-500 teams. They've had 40 games against them, only 12 losses. However, the Cardinals are 17-30 against teams 500 or better. So they need to do better there. And they've got to play a lot better at home.
And I think the poor home schedule is what is most complex. You can't understand why. It seems like they've always won at least 50 games, and they won 55 last year at home.
They've already matched the loss total of a season ago.
Yeah, 26 losses.
And the Cardinals have looked at all different kinds of things. The way they get to the ballpark, are they doing anything differently in preparation at home? As Pham puts it in play to third, Perez stretched by Carter stays on the bag for out number 2.
Think they ought to make the entire team stay at the hotel at home?
Try something. Best road record in the first half over the years. Kia in the driver's seat. The Cardinals 10 games above 500 at the start of play today.
04, 05, and 15. They all won 100 games.
Here's Aledmys Diaz. Here's a 1-0. 1 ball, 1 strike. Diaz hit by a pitch first time up. Tried to sacrifice back in the third after a leadoff double by Pham. Grounded out. Pham then was left stranded eventually at second base. 2 strikes. It's crazy. All the different stories of guys that get to the big leagues, whether it be this pitcher Garrett, Aledmys Diaz from Cuba, all of them have long histories in getting to the major leagues. Alberto Rosario, we've talked about his long journey. But here's Garrett, a former infielder and catcher and a 31-year-old rookie. And right now you could make a case he's their best starter.
He is. Wasn't supposed to be.
That's off of Garrett. Perez bare hands, no play. Base hit for Diaz, another infield hit.
19 infield hits for him. Second in the National League with those infield hits. Also hit so well, third on the road with a .362 batting average. Kind of threw the bat at it, and the ball hit up the middle off of Guerra, and no play with his great speed.
Here's Stephen Piscotty, who is lined out and also grounded out. First pitch hit in the air down the right field line and out of play. Well, today is the biggest crowd of the 3 that we've had this weekend series.
Very nice crowd and great weather. Don't often say that in Milwaukee, do you?
Especially not early in the season or late. But their summer months are gorgeous.
First time I think we've ever been here in Saw no rain.
Here's the 0-1 pitch to Piscotty. Out of play again. They've got Summerfest going on. It's a celebration of music and art. A lot of things to do.
Grateful Dead last night.
It's Sting playing tonight. Paul McCartney a couple of nights ago. And Al's personal favorite, Oingo Boingo.
You're kidding me.
You missed
All
it.
right, you're staying over with me.
You missed it. It's over.
Oh, it's over? What is it?
Oh, it's a great band, Al. You ever seen the movie Back to School? Rodney Dangerfield? If not, you need to download it now, and you'll be able to get a look at the great band and once in a lifetime, once in a generation type band, Oingo Boingo.
I'll pass.
You're missing out. 1-2 pitch. Fought off by Piscotty. This may drop. And a sliding catch made by Nieuwenhuis. Did not hold on, and Diaz is running, and he will score. It was dropped by Nieuwenhuis. He could not hold on. The umpire made the call immediately. Diaz hustling all the way, and it's 2-1 St. Louis.
Boy, you like that. You know, don't take things for granted. Don't assume that this ball is going to be made. And boy, drops it. You couldn't really tell that, but Diaz just put his head down. Yeah. It's 2 outs, put your head down, start running. Somebody will tell you later whether to stop or not. Nobody told him to stop, so he comes around and breaks the 1-1 tie with the Cardinals' second run. Way to go.
One thing he does do, he does a lot of little things right. Well schooled.
We were talking the other day about, you know, the ball hitting in the infield. Instead of looking at it to see whether he just put his head down and charged at first base and paid off.
Extends the inning to Peralta. And Johnny has struck out and also walked. So base hit for Steven Piscotty. And it brings in Aledmys Diaz.
48th RBI for Piscotty.
5 hits aside in this game. Tough play, but probably should have been caught. This one will be popped up. Scooter Gennett calling for it, and he puts it away. The Cardinals take the lead. It's now 2-1 as Diaz scores. Fans ages 16 and older receive a replica of the 06 World Series Championship Mystery Player Ring. It's coming up this weekend, July 16th. Cards in Miami. Cardinals.com/promotions to get those tickets. Mike Leake pitching very effectively here today with 8 strikeouts. He struck out 5 of the last 6. The 1-1 pitch to Flores.
And I was talking about Leake in 3-day starts. Everybody else in the rotation has made at least 6. Well, he has the lowest ERA during the day, 2.50.
The 2-1. So here we are at the All-Star break. Baltimore will go in, leading their division in the East of the American League. Cleveland in the American League Central. Texas in the West. Washington, Chicago, San Francisco, the leaders in the National League. I'm not sure you say quietly the Giants are playing great baseball. A lot of people expected them to do so, especially after what they did with free agency and Johnny Cueto and Jeff Samardzija. But this team is really good. 56 and 33.
I think the Giants would be the first to tell you that they didn't think Cueto was going to be as good as he has been. He's having a great year.
And it's another strikeout for Mike Leake. 9 today. 4 in a row.
Doing a good job changing speeds and everything. We're not seeing as many ground balls only because of all the strikeouts. There's not been one fly ball out. Strikeouts and ground ball outs.
One of the difference makers in this game, the hustle of Aledmys Diaz. Just seeing that at this level, you don't see it all the time. And Diaz hustling from first base, the difference in this game. 2-1 St. Louis at an 0-2 pitch. Guerra rips it out to left. There is Pham on the run to make the catch.
Tommy used his speed on that one. Well struck going into the corner, and he jumped on his horse and got over to it and hauled it in. And back on it, and just, you know, at a 45-degree angle, and just reached up the last second to haul it in.
So 2 outs, and it brings in VR. VR with 2 hits. Mike Leake after the catch.
That's 2.
1 more to get.
That's 2.
Oops. 0-1 pitch. 0-2. Rosario, you can see the fingernails on the throwing hand painted, so we can get those signs and clearly seen by Leake. The 1-2. So what's been the difference with Mike Leake here today?
I just think he's throwing the ball extremely well and changing speeds better than we've noticed.
That's slapped to Pham, who's got room. Makes the catch. Another 1-2-3 inning for Mike Leake. We played 5. Cardinals on top 2-1. review of the Cardinals news, features, and more this week. A look at the championship season with Aaron Miles, utility player on that team. Bring you a look at the Cardinals' first-round draft pick, Delvin Perez, his visit to Busch Stadium. Cardinals Insider brought to you by your Mid-America Chevy dealers after the game on Fox Sports Midwest.
Perez got off to a great start. You know what he's done lately?
Lindsey Weber and Ron Waterman helped put that show together. Cardinals Insider, and you can see that later today. Here's Adams, who has a home run and has struck out. First pitch taken high. Underway here in the top of the sixth. Solo home run in the second. That snapped an 0 for 27. 10th home run of the year. RBI number 35. We talked about it as almost a year and 3 days ago that Aledmys Diaz was designated for assignment. Any team could have had him. Cardinals took a chance because of the money that they owed on his deal. It's a 4-year contract for $8 million. They figured that teams would shy away from the money remaining on the deal. Took a chance. They're lucky it paid off.
For whatever reason, after that, he started hitting some home runs. Got promoted to AAA, hit like 390 there and hit some more home runs. Went to the Arizona Fall League, hit 315 there. And
as he said, it was a wake-up call. 2-2. And remember, it was to make room for Dan Johnson. Cardinals needed help at first base. Johnson this spring was trying to catch on with the club as a knuckleball pitcher. It's incredible.
You know, the way we've seen Diaz play here, it's hard to believe it would be a wake-up call. Because, you know, we've seen him just flat out hustle all the time and appreciate for being in the United States, you know, having baseball as his profession. But if that was the wake-up call it took, that's great.
He's also made a very good play today on a backhanded play as Adams strikes out. That's 5 today for Junior Guerra.
Cardinals have 6 hitters now after Adams got his 10th home run. 6 hitters with 10 or more home runs, and Grichuk's knocking at the door with 9.
One out and nobody on. Grichuk has flied to right, flied to left, 0 for 2. 1 ball and 1 strike. Playing to pull on the infield. Colton Wong on deck.
I think we both believe that we just have to see Grichuk get extended playing time and really give him that big chance and see if he can do. Such a high ceiling.
Got to play him. Lefties, righties, day game, night game. Let's see what he's got.
And you could do that because he is a good defensive player also. So, you know, a lot of the fortunes of this year was predicated on Wong and Grichuk and Piscotty, young players playing every day. No complaints on Piscotty, but the growing pains have been there for Wong and Grichuk. They got the talent.
(3-2) is fouled back. You know what I received today? Very nice gift. Bob Uecker gave me the giveaway signed this past week, I believe.
It says the alarm clock.
The alarm clock.
Yeah. With his voice chip in it.
That's right.
Well,
So I'll be able to wake up at any point in time to the voice of the great Bob Uecker.
And I know how much respect we both have for Bob Uecker, so I know you're going to cherish that. There he is.
It says, get up, get up, get out of here, gone. Like this.
On call.
Get up, get up, get out of here, gone. Right on cue.
Right on cue, and I'm telling you what, that was a one-handed swing, and that went over the bullpen into the second deck there.
That was my Uecker call, though.
Oh, I appreciated it.
Okay.
And now we have 7 guys with 10 home runs or more.
Get up, get up, get out of here, gone. I'll wake you up tomorrow if you want, Al.
Dan, you need a little work on it.
I do. But I'll take the home run.
But look at this, breaking ball, one-handed, way out in front, fooled by the pitch. I was watching left fielder, and at first, you sit there and he turned around and looked up, and you look where it lands. That gives you an idea how strong the kid is and how the ball jumps off his bat. His 10th home run, RBI totaling up to 30. He got sent down, went down, and you're seeing him now making much better contact than off-speed pitches.
I doubt Bob made that call on that home run, but he's done it many, many times for his club.
Yes. He'd be proud of yours, though.
Wong rips it into right center field, all the way to the wall. Flores gets it back into the infield quickly, and it's a double for Colton Wong. Come to the Cardinals 2006 World Series anniversary celebration presented by Budweiser. 15th, 16th, and 17th at Busch Stadium. Many promotional items commemorating the Cardinals' win over the Tigers in the Fall Classic. All begins on Friday. Many of those players will be there all weekend long.
Derek Johnson, the pitching coach, out to talk to Garrett. They got activity in their bullpen. That was Colton Wong, only his 3rd double. He's got 3 triples and 1 home run. Very few extra base hits, and I think we all know he's got some pop in his bat. A little surprising.
It brings in Alberto Rosario, who's hit into a double play and also single to right. Runner at second is Colton Wong. Cardinals have opened up a 3-1 lead. RBIs today for Adams, Piscotty, Grichuk, the solo home run. First pitch taken low.
And once again, Cardinals have homered in 18 straight games at Miller Park and 35 out of the last 41.
One-0 is hit to third. Perez looking back Wong, and he makes the play. Get up, get up, get out of here, and gone. It's getting better. Oh, trust me.
No.
Oh, yes.
No. Your first one was better than that one.
Well, you liked it because it was live, spontaneous.
That's one of the reasons.
And it was a Cardinal home run. You like that too?
Yes, I did. Now I want Leak to pick up his 7th career home run.
And a pitch taken inside. Bob has been affiliated with Milwaukee and the Brewers organization for over 50 years.
Native of Milwaukee.
Told me he's going to do some fishing during the All-Star break. He's not the only one.
His leg's a little bigger.
You know, he used to take Mike Matheny fishing all the time.
Yeah, Red used to come up here and go fishing with him.
Fastball and a strike at 94.
Garrow didn't break with a ball club. He started at AAA and was 0-2 at AAA. And then he's pitched so well here.
2-1 pitch. Inside.
6-1 is Garrow's record. The only team he lost to is the Cardinals. In his 12 starts, the team is 10-2. At 108 pitches.
You know, I'm supposed to play golf with Mr. Baseball too. Coming up next time they're in St. Louis. You should join us. As Leake draws the walk.
That may be it, or they're trying to nurse him through this. Ain't nope. Council will make the long walk, and we'll go to the bullpen.
So that'll be it for Guerra, who has had great success coming into this start against most teams, but not against the Cardinals. It's our Chevy call to the pen. Right-hander coming on. We'll tell you about the change when we come back, and Tommy Pham due up when we return. The beer stein giveaway of the 06 championship team. That's Friday, presented by Budweiser. Add that beer stein to your collection. And we hope to see you all weekend long at the ballpark. Miami will be in town.
Thornburg comes in here. His 36th appearance. Last pitch on Friday when he tossed a scoreless 7th inning. Walked one and struck out one. He's unscored upon in 30 of his 35 appearances this season. At one point he retired 26 straight batters. Now he'll get Tommy Pham with 2 outs and runners at first and second.
Pham with a double to left center, left stranded back in the third. He is struck out and grounded out. First pitch taken high. Hyundai pitch arsenal for Thornburg, who has worked out of their pen the last couple of years. Fastball, curve, and change. Two and 0. second pitch they called a strike, so 1-2 the count. Pham in the hole here. Thornburg in relief of Guerra. Outfield straight away. Breaking ball taken high. It's one of the issues that they have with Thornburg. Win right, pretty good fastball. But the curveball at times just spins, doesn't get that break.
You got to pull down on it.
The 2-2 taken low. So the base runners with 2 outs and a full count off with this pitch. They say, well, the pitchers at first probably wouldn't score in a ball in the gap. Most times you'd probably be right, but not in the case of Leake. He can run. Here's a 3-2. Struck him out. Reared back and got him 94 miles an hour. The Cardinals pick up a solo home run off the bat of Randal Grichuk. Get up! Get up! Get out of here! Gone! I like it. You do too, Al. All-Star game coming up Tuesday night. You can see that on Fox, also on Fox Sports Go. Futures game is this evening in San Diego. And Carson Kelly, the catcher, and Alex Reyes will be featured for the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals with a lead of 3-1. Mike Leake pitching into the 6th with 9 strikeouts.
Wasn't it 2012 when Piscotty, Wisdom, and Kelly were all drafted as third basemen? Turned Carson Kelly into a catcher, and he was the best defensive catcher last year in the minor leagues, Gold Glove winner.
And as Scooter Gennett looks at a bowl 2-0.
Patrick Wisdom stayed at third, has the best throwing arm of any Cardinal infielder, and we know about Piscotty's move to right field and how well he's done.
The 2-0 pitch. Good changeup.
I think we've seen the changeup be very effective today, and also just the way he's worked with Rosario and mixing his pitches up. Once again, no walks.
Another ground ball that's hit to second baseman Colton Wong for the first out.
People he's had trouble with is Lucroy, who is on deck hit after Braun, and then their starting pitcher, Guerra, hit a double and hit another. That line drive to left field that we saw Pham make a play on.
Ground ball. Oh, what a play here by Diaz. And the pick at first by Adams. Terrific play all the way around. Diaz soft hands. Adams as well.
I talked about how Diaz playing very aggressive and big smiles in the infield there when you make those plays. But Diaz comes in on this ball, is going to backhand it and got a handle on it. May have still not been quite the right one as he short hopped Matt Adams, but he picked it. Second nice play that Matt Adams has been involved with.
You know how I really like to call a game is I just let it rip like Harry Doyle.
Want me to be your color man?
Dynamite drop in, Al. Or I should call you Monty. That broadcast school has really paid off. 1 ball, 1 strike. Diaz had the great play off the bat of Neuenhuis in the second. This one moments ago here in the 6th, and also his hustle leading to the second run in this game for the Cardinals. A little bit of everything.
Yeah, you know, I mean, he just does all the right things and well schooled, and there's no reason why anybody can't hustle on a baseball diamond.
Diaz deep in the hole. Can he make this play too? Why not? He's putting on a show here in Milwaukee. Aledmys Diaz, the all-star, showing us why. Another great play.
In fact, he's hit 326 coming in, so better than that against Milwaukee in his brief career.
Hit out of play. Alex Reyes learning this morning he would be the World Team's starting pitcher. The Futures game.
Good for him. And you say it's a night game?
The evening out on the West Coast, I believe. Late afternoon, potentially. I'm not sure. 2-2. Inside, 3-2. Home run derby tomorrow, and then All-Star game on Tuesday. Fouled back. Popped up and out of play. Just below us. Ninth pitch of the at bat coming up right here. And Diaz pops it up. Carter near the line and makes the catch. So Thornburg is faced 2 in relief of Guerra, who went 5 2/3. He's got to strike out to pop out, and it brings in Stephen Piscotty. Piscotty with a base hit into center. Second hit, he's 2 for 4.
Peralta 0 for 2, and a walk comes up here. Came in as a .341 batter against Milwaukee. Friday night it was .381 in this ballpark.
And the breaking ball taken low. Couple of home runs hit by the Cardinals today. Adams, Grichuk. Be interesting to see how the Cardinals align their bullpen. Broxton was set to be the closer with O unavailable, and Rosenthal dealing with the leg issue, not anticipated to be serious. Will it stay that way today, or is O going to be the closer if you need him?
Well, let's remember all the way back to our open, we talked about Cardinal victories. They do it by such a large margin, second best in all of National League. Better 4.5 runs in their victories. Let's make it not a safe situation.
That's ripped out to left, a sinking liner that drops in front of Braun. Back-to-back singles for the Cardinals, and a chance here for Matt Adams. Well, Adams has done a little bit of everything, just like Diaz here this afternoon, defensively and at the plate. Matt Adams back in the second inning, snaps an 0 for 27 in emphatic fashion with this long home run. Remember this pickoff play that saved a run from scoring and an error on Leak. Then a nice pick here. VR in the rundown. And also on the play by Diaz had a nice pick as well. Does not get enough credit for his defense.
You know, it's When you're swinging the bat well, they don't talk about your defense. When you're struggling a little bit at the plate, you're playing good defense, they don't talk about that. So I guess you got to hit a home run and play good defense before we can talk about it. 0 for 27. That's a long grind mentally for a young player. And Adam Still is a player that hasn't reached his potential.
Kept in front by Lucroy. May have blocked that with his right arm.
That's why he's out there with his head down, because that right arm's hurting.
He's under contract for this season and then a very friendly option for next year for any club that would want him, including obviously Milwaukee under their control. But a lot of talk that he could be moved before this year's deadline.
Yeah, it's not the easiest to move a starting catcher. As somebody else's starter pretty much would have to go out, but you never know. Sure seems to be a pretty big fixture and a big part of their club now and moving forward.
Taken high, fastball at 92.
Sounded a lot harder than that. And sometimes that means the ball's straight. You have movement and you don't catch it square.
The 2-1 pitch. Cardinals lead this season series with Milwaukee. 11 games, they've won 8 of them. 2 of 3 back in April at home. 2 of 3 late May, early June here in Milwaukee, and Cardinals swept the Brewers last weekend. Adams strikes out for the 3rd time.
We have to win this game to extend our winning series mark to 14. Cardinals' last 13 times they played here, they've either tied or won the series. They haven't lost one. Longest current winning streak against an opponent.
Brings in Grichuk, who is fly to right, fly to left, and also homered. Home run, a solo shot back in the 6th. 10th of the year, 30th RBI. First pitch to the Cardinals center fielder. Leak is only at 83 pitches. So we play here in the top of the 7th. So definitely one more inning. Maybe 2, maybe even 3. Extend him out with the break. This is back in the 6th inning, and he went down to get it, and it went a long way. Home run number 10.
One-handed off-balance swing. It did go a long way. Since he came to the Cardinals and the David Freese trade with the Angels.
Good curveball and froze him.
Noticed his power.
3 strikeouts for Thornburg. Time to stretch on this Sunday afternoon. Cardinals about hit Milwaukee 9-5. Our score 3-1. Diaz at the plate. On the bases, in the field. This is a little bloop. Looked like it was going to be caught with 2 outs. It was not. Diaz never took it for granted. Scores the second run for the Cardinals as they, at that point, took a 2-1 lead. How about his defense? He's had 3 really good plays standing out in this game. That was off the bat of Neuenhuis, then some soft hands here. Nice pick by Adams. Then deep in the hole to end last inning. Little bit of everything being shown by Ledmus Diaz.
You know, I think probably some people in the national audience have heard about the errors, and they'll be surprised when you see the way he's playing defense now. A lot more confidence, very aggressive on the plays defensively, and of course we said aggressively on the base paths and paid off today.
$42,066. Only the second sellout this year here at Miller Park. Many of these fans, Cardinal fans. Great to see the crowd, though, over 42,000. Mike Leake pitching into the bottom of the 7th. Chris Carter, a couple of home runs on Friday. And since then, held in check. He's 0 for 2 today with a pair of strikeouts. Lines it fair. Piscotty may have a chance to get him if he fields it cleanly. He can't. Gets into the corner. And the big man is running and rumbling to third. First triple of the year for Carter.
It's beyond our sight lines when the ball gets down the corner, so we couldn't see the problems that Piscotty must have had. Like he tried to come across, but then the ball got by him. And by the time he got it back in, Carter has a triple. Just inside, just tugging the foul line here. And there he missed it. So he's got to go all the way to the wall and track it down.
First triple since May 3rd of 2014.
That'll get the bullpen active for the Cardinals as Broxton starts throwing.
They answer your question about O's availability. 1 ball, 1 strike as Leake pitched out of trouble back in the 1st. Did so again in the 3rd. The Brewers had runners at 1st and 3rd, nobody out, and did not score. Carter really wasn't hustling out of the box. Could see that when he hit it, couldn't find the baseball where it was, then realized it was fair. Had all kinds of English on it off the end of the bat. Hit the sidewall, skipped through Piscotty, and he winds up with a triple. Tying run at the plate. The 2-1 pitch. Check swing, he went to even it up at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, let's see him hustle out of the box. There he finds it. To right, Dan. He didn't know where it was. He thinks he's got a double. And then when Piscotty had to go all the way into the corner to dig it out, that allowed him to go to 3rd.
The 2-2. Little soft liner that's caught by Diaz. When you're rebuilding mode like the Milwaukee Brewers here, guys like Will Middlebrooks, Kirk Neuenhuis, this really is their opportunity to show what they can do. They've got a chance.
Sure.
And Neuenhuis comes up short here with a runner at 3rd, 1 out. Same could be said for Perez, who is 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Leake with 9 today.
Really hasn't been pitching in really any tough situations, so this would be really his first real pressure situation since the 1st inning. First inning, the only inning where he had multiple hits allowed. And the 3rd inning, where he had to pitch with runners at 1st and 3rd.
The 1-1. Now 1-2.
walks has really saved him, hasn't it?
It's huge. We talked about that too. He got him. Strikeout number 10, and a big one for Mike Leake. Perez strikes out for the 3rd time. This curveball or breaking ball has been an effective pitch for him today. When he's needed that 3rd strike, he doesn't throw it all that much, but when he's had to use it, it's been good.
And he's kept it off the plate. You know, not throwing it for strikes, get him to chase it.
3rd career double-digit strikeout game. Career high is 12 for Mike Leake. Here's a 1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. 96 pitches today for Leake. He is due up 3rd for the Cardinals.
Flores and been 3 for 4 off of Leake, but not today. 0 for 2.
0-2. Wouldn't this be something if he can get out of this jam?
It's one more good pitch. And I give Rosario a lot of credit. The way he's guided him. Never caught him before, but they've worked extremely well together. How about there? You got a 11-year minor league making his first major league start, and he's out there with a veteran pitcher patting him on the back and guiding him through it and taking charge. And Leake had never pitched in the minor leagues.
The 1-2 just missed. Mike Leake made the jump from Arizona State to the rotation of the Reds.
I remember that year we opened up with the Reds. He didn't make an appearance, but was put right in the rotation.
2-2 is a ground ball softly hit to Colton Wong. Leadoff triple by Carter, and they can't bring him in, and some boos here in Milwaukee. Mike Leake keeps the lead at 3-1 for St. Louis. The reaction of his manager, he loves it. We head to the 8th. Five qualifying batters over 300 at the break. 5th time in the last 40 years that that's happened. First since 1999. We'll see Miami in town on Friday night.
How about the job of Leak as Will Smith, their lone lefty, will come out of the bullpen. He last pitched on Friday night, took his 3rd blown save of the season. And in the 3rd, 1 hit. That was a solo home run by Yadier Molina to tie the score. Been very, very reliable for their bullpen, but he didn't start this year at the big league level until June 1st.
Wong trying to bunt his way on, and he will. No one at the bag. Base hit. Miami, by the way, with the win today over Cincinnati. Now 6 games over 500 for the first time at the break, being that far ahead of the 500 mark since 2009.
I mentioned that Will Smith, hadn't started. He had a knee sprain, an LCL knee sprain, wearing a brace, and you could see he falls towards 3rd base, and it took him a while to try and recover. That bunt was just perfectly placed. Pitcher, first baseman couldn't get to it.
Here's Rosario. He is singled, rounded into a double play, grounded out to 3rd. Wong on base for the 3rd time. A walk, a double, and now the bunt base hit.
Holiday's going to pitch hit for Leak. I think that's the right move, with a real good inning, a great performance by Leak. Nothing but positives.
Rosario showing bunt, and there's a strike. Leak's 3rd career game, 10 or more strikeouts. Last one was a year ago today at Miami.
Alberto Rosario, his first start in the big leagues, was 1 for 3. Guided his pitcher through a great pitching performance. I think that's big. And I mean this in the right way, but hopefully Mike Matheny will gain confidence in Rosario and feel like he can take Yadi out and give him the rest that he will need in the 2nd half.
Here's an 0-1 pitch. Gets the bunt down, but Smith, well, he thought about going to 2nd, may have had a play, got the Shore out at 1st, and there's 1 away.
A lot of times that catcher's going to call and tell you whether to go to 2nd or first base, but you had a shot at Wong, but you had a guaranteed out at first base, and you got to take it.
Well, we saw Martinez with 11 strikeouts yesterday. Today it is Mike Leake. Last pair that did that, back-to-back games, consecutive games in which they struck out double figures, was 2013. Jaime Garcia and Lance Lynn. So it doesn't happen very often, but it's happened here in this series.
And you're talking about a staff that really is a ground ball staff, not a strikeout staff. Leake got the strikeouts most of the time when he really needed it today. So Holiday, who sprained his ankle on Friday night, going to have his first plate appearance since Friday night. He's hit so well on the road, and confusing why he hasn't translated to better numbers at home.
28 hits shy of 2,000 for Holiday. Talked about it a little bit yesterday. There's 278 members of that club, 2,000 hits, 29 for 3,000. And at last check, Ichiro was 10 shy of the 3,000 hit club. I think what's going to be interesting in this at bat is how many pitches, if any, does Holiday get to hit? 1 ball, 1 strike. You do have first base open. Would you rather deal with Pham and then Diaz? The 1-1 pitch.
Big insurance run out there.
The 2-1 pitch. 2-2. It seemed to be a routine play Friday night in which Holiday sprained that ankle. Nothing routine about the line shot that Walker took off the back of the heel. Rosenthal came in, took the loss on Friday night, dealing with his leg issues. Runner at second is Colt Wong. The 2-2 pitch to Holiday. Wong gets on base with his team leading third bunt hit, all coming in the last 5 games. The 3-2 to Holiday. Long way to go for Flores. And he makes the catch. So with 2 outs, it'll be Tommy Pham. We have the Build-A-Bear Workshop Day coming up. Those are for 12,000 kids, 15 and under. Limited edition bear. Cardinals.com/promotions. That's a Sunday, July 24th. Cardinals playing host to the Dodgers that day.
Pham 1 for 1 off of Smith.
Pham has struck out, doubled into left center. Grounded out to third. Struck out in the 6th. First man that Tyler Thornburg faced. In relief of Guerra, starter that went 5 2/3. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Make it 0-2.
That time he looked like he's looking for the fastball. Now with 0-2, he can't afford to do that anymore.
The Brewers will have a pinch hitter. Then VR and Jeanette, the top of their lineup. Here's an 0-2 to Pham. Struck him out, so Pham strikes out for the 3rd time. Cardinals strand a runner. They've left 10 on today. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Baseball is brought to you by Bud Light. Raise 1-2 right now. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. It's turned out to be a gorgeous day here in Milwaukee. Glad that you're with us along with Al Raboski. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes is here as well. Jonathan Broxton takes over. Mike Leake. Boy, Leake was good today. 6 hits in 7 innings as he strikes out a season high 10. Here's Andy Wilkins, the one left-handed batter they have off their bench. We take a look at the Hyundai pitch arsenal for the former Brewers closer. Fastball slider change. Depending upon the workload, you'll see the velocity of Broxton 92, 93. Sometimes he'll get it up to 96, 97.
95 there. Broxton hasn't pitched since last Wednesday. When you look at all the Milwaukee Brewers players, there's only one that's gotten a hit off Broxton, and that's Ryan Braun. He's hitting pretty well.
Popped up. Peralta over. That'll find the seats out of play.
Broxton is now 32 years of age. 6'4", 285. He'll have over 11 years of major league experience after this year. He was here in Milwaukee at the end of 14 and the start of last year before he came to St. Louis.
Two and two.
Kind of a catch-22 with the 4 days off for the All-Star break. You want your starter to have a good game, but you also would like to see some of your bullpen guys get some work. And like I said, Broxton hasn't pitched since Wednesday, so he needs some tune-up here today. I would say most relievers don't like to have more than 2 or 3 days off. One day does wonders for you. 2 is a total rejuvenation of your arm, and after that you kind of feel like you lose your touch.
Good pitch. It's a pretty good bite on that pitch. What's on Tap is presented by Budweiser. The reunion weekend coming up. The 2006 champion Cardinals. A lot of giveaways all weekend long, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Many of the players will be back from that championship team of 10 years ago. Top of the lineup, and here's VR. Strike one. The win today, the Nationals get win number 54, matching the 94 Expos. Most wins prior to the All-Star break in franchise history. A lot of folks around baseball believe that the game will return to Montreal with expansion, and many believe that was the year that brought it down in Montreal because of the strike and season shutdown.
Oh yeah, but they had such a great team.
It's 74 wins. I think there's 74 and 30. And the game was shut down and they were headed to postseason play, loaded with stars. Here's a 2-1 pitch to VR.
I'd have to convince my partner that Montreal is a fun place to go.
You don't have to convince me one bit.
Oh no, you've told me how much you dislike that place.
Love that place. The 2-2. Used to go there with hockey too. Be freezing outside. You'd head to downtown Montreal, and so many things to do in the bars and the restaurants. A lot of fun.
That was pre-Libby.
Yes, sir. 3-2 pitch, and he strikes out his second man. So 2 outs recorded by Broxton.
Well, he still knows how to pitch. Maybe see a little bite on that slider, fooling the arm. Mentioned that Broxton's had trouble with Ryan Braun. He's the on-deck hitter, so retire Scooter Gennett. You don't have to worry about it until the next time we play each other.
Ground ball. Broxton can't get it, but Diaz does. Who else? And a 1-2-3. 8th inning for Jonathan Broxton. And Ledmus leads it off when we come back. Two, as Al was talking about earlier, you do have the all-star break, so Jeremy Jeffress comes into this game. Their closer, 40th appearance, 2.41 ERA. We saw him pitch in game 1 of this series. It's 3-1 St. Louis. Cardinals about to hit the Brewers 10-6. And 10 strikeouts for Cardinals starter Mike Leake through 7 innings today. Then he gave way to Broxton, who strikes out 2 in the 8th. The defense of Ledmus Diaz outstanding here this afternoon. He's scored a run. He's been on base twice. Was hit by a pitch and singled an infield hit back in the 5th inning. Fastball at 93 and a strike.
Love to see him get another hit, a multi-hit game. He's extended his hitting streak to 6. That base hit.
No balls and 2 strikes. Tried to sacrifice back in the 3rd. That turned into an out. He's also popped out. Steven Piscotty is on deck. Johnny Peralta is due up 3rd. He's in the cleanup spot today. The 0-2. Diaz strikes out. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Here's Steven Piscotty. The Cardinals have the lead here in the top of the ninth. It's 3-1 St. Louis. Piscotty a couple of base hits, including an RBI back in inning number 5. Cardinals had a solo home run in the second from Matt Adams, and also a solo home run in the 6th from Randall Grichuk. Oh, 2.
Jeffries was originally selected by Milwaukee in the first round, 16th overall in the first-year player draft back in 2006. Then he went to Kansas City. He was involved in that Greinke deal with Escobar and Jake Odorizzi. Went to Toronto from Kansas City and then re-signed in 2014 with Milwaukee, the team that originally drafted him. Highly touted out of high school in the state of Virginia.
Fouled back. Still 0-2 here on Stephen Piscotty.
Oh, is warming up, so he'll come in and try to nail this one down.
Doesn't chase.
Scotty 2 for 4 and hit a ball hard first time up to center field and was denied. Also driven in a run. And Mike T, ever since he's taken over, he's seen the Cardinals play very good baseball against Milwaukee.
Evens it up at 2-2. Cardinals did have Wainwright and Garcia potentially available to pitch out of their pen if need be. So far, no reason.
And I was telling you, I used to pay attention to how many guys around the league.
Strikeout of Piscotty.
The weekend of the All-Star break, where starters would come in out of relief and half of them would get losses. Just not anticipating, even if their manager told them they were going to possibly pitch in relief. I think different mindset when you've been accustomed to your routine, what you do between starts, and then when you find yourself in a big league game, it's a completely different story.
Good breaking ball to Piscotty, or rather to Peralta. Cardinals have struck out 11 times. Up the middle, backhanded, and off the glove of Jeanette into center field.
See how they score that. See Jeanette looking like the ball took a bad hop on him and he tried to backhand it. Garcia's going to pinch run for Peralta and scored an error. It came up on him a little bit.
So here is Adams, who has struck out 3 times and a solo home run back in the second inning. Trying to add to this Cardinals 3-1 lead. They're charged to Jeanette, number 5. And a pitch a little bit low as Jeffress just stares back into Gabe Morales, the home plate umpire. We get a little rest at the All-Star break. Trade deadline then right around the corner. In those dog days of August, and then you see the light at the end of the tunnel in September. Some of the call-ups fouled back. The Cardinals hoping to be in contention at that point.
Yeah, and you know that John Mozeliak, the Cardinal general manager, is always going to be out there looking and trying to improve the ball club, but kind of locked in a little bit with some of the Lions and Bowman, who you wouldn't want to move them because they're pitching so well, but because they're out of options or a Rule 5 pick.
Ripped into right center field. That ball is all the way to the wall. Chris Maloney waving in the runner. Relay to the plate, not in time. Adams drives in Garcia to make it a 4-1 St. Louis lead.
Second RBI of the day for Matt Adams, the second hit. And by having Garcia pinch run for Peralta, it paid off. Garcia and his speed come all the way around from first base on the double. And that's a big insurance run out there. Down and in, just drops a bat head. Hits this ball extremely hard. It goes all the way to the wall, and that guaranteed that Garcia with his good speed could come around and circle the bases.
Extends a lead to 4-1, and here is Grichuk. Off the end of the bat, that's into center field. Here comes the big man. He will score. That's Adams, and Grichuk makes him pay after the air.
Picks up his second RBI of the day. So both the home run hitters pick up RBIs here in the ninth. Remember yesterday it was a tight ball game, 3-1, and then the Cardinals picked up 5 runs in the ninth inning. No longer a safe situation, so go ahead and pile on. O needs to work, so with the off days coming up, so I'm sure no change there.
Much of this crowd of 42,000 plus begins to hit for the exits. 5-1 Cardinals. Here's Colton Wong. On base 3 times with a walk, a double, and a bunt base hit. Short lead at first by Grichuk. It's another multi-hit game for him as Wong hits a fly ball out of play. I just think Randal Grichuk is such a key in the second half. And there's a lot of players you look at and you say, well, what if? But he's a big one. I mean, here's a guy that you started this season saying he's your everyday center fielder and would primarily be your cleanup man.
Yeah, it just, you know, he's really struggled this year with runners in scoring position. So you're starting to see him react better to those off-speed pitches, breaking balls, not better pitch recognition, and that's what they were hopeful when he would go down in the minor leagues. He hit 280, hit 5 home runs and 15 RBIs in just 15 games, and go down with the right attitude. Same thing with Wong. He hit in all 7 games with a couple home runs down there at the AAA level.
Little chopper that's hit to second. Jeanette handles that one. A sarcastic cheer from the crowd. 5-1 as we head to the bottom of the ninth, and O coming on. Leake pitching out of trouble this afternoon. Now, he did have 10 strikeouts. This is in the third. Runners at first and second, nobody out. Part of the lineup coming up. He got the strikeout of Jeanette. VR was picked off. Then he strike out Ryan Braun. That was big. That was in the third. Then in the 7th inning, leadoff triple by Carter. Soft liner by Neuenhuis. Perez the strikeout. Flores would ground out. So Mike Lake did his job pitching out of trouble here today.
A great 7 innings. No walks allowed, 10 strikeouts. He's our Budweiser player of the game. 6 hits allowed, the 1 earned run. That was back all the way in the 1st inning. So outstanding job. Broxton had a 1-2-3 8th inning, and now it's up to 0.
And a tough afternoon for Braun. Struck out first 2 times up. Showed you the one in the third. In the first, he had 1 out and a runner at third and was caught looking. Then it was that play by Aledmus Diaz. Backhanded, soft hands. Good pick at first by Adams. 0 for 3 today, and now in the hole, nothing in 2.
Ron 0 for 1 against 0.
Chicago did win today, so they snapped their 5-game losing skid. The Cardinals with a win would start the second half 7 games back and in second place.
Yeah, so I mean, you couldn't lose. You're going to pick up ground on somebody. Preferred it to be the Cubs. All-time Asian save leader.
2-2.
277 saves in Korea. Another 80 the last 2 years in Japan. So 357 saves and for the rookie.
Three-2 pitch. He'll stay in the ballpark, and there is Piscotty. And Eugene Koo nods in approval.
Korean translator. We've all enjoyed having him around.
Here's Lucroy. Couple of hits today for the All-Star. 2-out RBI back in the first to account for the only run for Milwaukee. Showed you that graphic at the start of play today. The Cardinals lose, they win big. They lose by not a lot. And that first half was loaded with missed opportunities. As Lucroy hits it into center, sinking liner that's caught by Randall Grichuk.
I wonder how much consideration O was for an All-Star berth. This is his 45th appearance for Mike Matheny. He's 2-0, coming in with a 162 average. Does have 2 saves. 44 on now 45 innings pitched, 26 hits. Allowed 1 home run, 13 walks, 59 strikeouts, and opponents are batting 161.
And it brings in Carter. Final hope here for Milwaukee.
And when the Cardinals signed I know I was very intrigued with his numbers, very impressed with him, and I think we all have to say that he has answered those all the questions and really legitimate.
1-2.
It's been fun watching him. Seems like he's takes good care of himself, but very, very durable.
1-2 pitch. Check swing. Did not go. The 2-2. Carter with a high fly ball. Right center. Grichuk is there. The Cardinals win it 5-1, and they take 2 of 3 against Milwaukee, and that's now 14 consecutive series that the Cardinals have either split or won against the Milwaukee Brewers.
And we talked about how you've got to push this weekend. They did that, winning 2 out of 3 after losing Friday night, and they have put themselves in a position where they're back in contention this ballpark, back in second place, 7 games behind the Cubs, and enjoy the All-Star break and then come back ready to play great Cardinal baseball.
We'll wrap it up in a moment. Cardinals win it 5-1. They take 2 of 3. The postgame show comes your way next.